The J. Michaels Show.
Wow, I think we're up to episode 60, but we have a guest returning this time. Tina Djuretic is an author that we interviewed back in January. And she's back again because she has a new book coming out. Tina, say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Nice to Jay. I was actually going through it this morning too, going, when did we do that interview? And I think you're right. I think it was January.
Yeah, I think it was January, and it was episode. Oddly enough, I think it was like episode 30. And this is episode 60. So.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, I know. We've come full circle, or almost.
Synchronicity.
Well, you have a new book about to come out, and Finding My Sovereignty's been out for a while. That's the book that you have out now. But tell me about this new book.
So funny enough, I actually went back this morning and I was listening to our interview because I wanted to see what it was that we had talked about. Mm-hmm. And I was writing the second book when we were having our interview. So yes, Finding My Sovereignty, this was my memoir. So this came out last year. Mm-hmm. And the next one is called Lost in the Overwhelm. And I released that last week, actually. So I'm finally finished that one as well. And mm-hmm. This is the practical workbook to follow up my memoir because my story walked through childhood trauma, patterns of dating, and just patterns in relationships in general, not even just dating, but friends, your whole tribe. And as I learned how to heal those things and recognize the patterns, I took a lot of notes because I had no idea how or where that I was supposed to heal. I wasn't working at the time. It was COVID, so I was broke. I didn't have any money to pay for therapy, and I had to figure it out, mm-hmm. and I did,
Mm-hmm. So, Lost in the Overwhelm, that is an interesting title because especially like this year, I think everyone's been overwhelmed with things that's happening in the world. How did you select that title, and what do you mean by overwhelmed?
It's exactly what you're saying. I have felt, and ironically, as I was writing the book, I kept going, I am so overwhelmed with how much is on my plate right now. And I'm mm-hmm. laughing, going, God, it's the title of my book, and yet I'm still overwhelmed, mm-hmm. right? We're not perfect just because we write about these things. We still live them, but I think overwhelm comes in many forms, right? There's just the general statement of I'm overwhelmed, overburdened. I can't keep up with everything that's going on right mm-hmm. now. Mm-hmm. And I got that title. I was trying to come up with a title and I was feeling overwhelmed at the time. And I think I heard a tarot reader say, don't get lost in the overwhelm while you're doing this. And I went, oh my God, that's the title of my next book. That's a great title. Yeah. And so I Googled to make sure no one else had it. And I was like, yeah, that's the one. I knew that it was the one. So.
You also have channel experiences with a channeler. Has that channeler or that guide helped you along with writing this book?
She more tells me that I have to do it and gives me like almost a timeline. It might not be at the beginning, but like, okay, we're ready for it, put it out. Mm-hmm. For example, when I wrote this one, my intention was to have it done in June because I'm a tour director. So I have a seasonal job. I'm super busy all summer long. And in the winter, this is when I get to write and then do these podcasts. So I literally finished my last tour yesterday. So
wow.
Yeah. I haven't even stopped. I just took off one hat, put on the other hat, right? And just
right.
Time to get out there and start promoting the book. But when she told me back at the beginning that I would write a memoir, that I would heal as I wrote my own story down, she said to me, take notes mm-hmm. because you will follow up your memoir with a workbook. And I was like, what? Because I'm at the beginning, right? I'm like, I haven't even healed yet. I'm just fully living my trauma. And, but I took that to heart. So as I worked through my own healing and had to figure it out, I took notes the entire time. So in fact, when it came to writing the workbook, I had pages and pages and pages of notes. Mm-hmm. So it was a matter of sifting through, putting into an order that I thought would make sense. Of course, healing isn't just linear, is it? We're all a
No.
bit different. So
Right.
with a work, you can go to chapter 1, chapter 3, chapter 5, and if that's where you want to start, that's where you should start, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we jump around, especially in life. A workbook. I think in January we talked about this, that the next book would be a workbook. What all is in it, and what is there things that people can do by using your book?
Well, because it's going to be a spiritually based healing, let's put it this way, mine was a spiritually based healing, and I wrote what I know. So I really concentrated on the lower three chakras because this is where we're housing so much of our childhood trauma. So I start with the root chakra, right? Start
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning. But also, there were valuable lessons that my channeler taught to me that helped me forgive.
Mm-hmm.
Because forgiving the unforgivable is tough. And this is where we probably get the most resistance when it comes to healing, right? Is forgiving really heinous acts that we don't feel are forgivable. So learning about how karma works, learning about how our soul chooses the lessons that we're going to learn before we even come here,
Mm-hmm.
understanding that school is or that earth is a school for us where we're learning, we try these hard lessons with purpose. The first person I had to forgive was myself, right? Like,
Yes.
give
Yes.
yourself for choosing these often, lousy things that sound like a great idea when you're a soul up there going, oh, let's find out what betrayal feels like. Yeah, that'll be fun. Right? And then you come here and
Yeah.
you experience betrayal and you go, this is shit. I don't like this at all. Right? So it's how we learn, isn't it? So
Well, that's often when people talk about forgiveness, the number one person they usually forget to forgive is themselves, right?
yeah, and it's where we have to start.
Exactly. You have to start with you.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even these outside relationships that we have, when I was looking at my relationships going, God, people treat me so poorly and I treat them so well,
Mm-hmm.
the connection there even is your relationships are a reflection of how you treat yourself, not how you treat others, how you
Mm-hmm.
treat yourself. Oof. Boy, so then when you kind of tear it apart and go, God, people are awful to me and I take it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's your inner voice doing too, right? My inner voice was pretty awful to myself too. And so aside from having some lessons, some journaling prompts, the typical things you would expect in a workbook, first you need to deconstruct all of the programming that has been put upon us as children, as young adults. And it doesn't only come from the family, it comes from society, it comes from religion, it comes from
Mm-hmm.
where you grew up. Your country has different ideas and concepts, right? There's many varieties around the world. All of those things are programmed into us. So the first thing we need to do really is deconstruct,
Mm-hmm.
drop all of this programming. Maybe even some of it served you at the time, but times have changed. Most of it probably never served us, but it's there anyways. So once we strip all that down, well, now we can start with a clean canvas, if you will, or a clean slate, and start to put the programs. So now you need to reparent your inner child,
Right.
remove the old programs, put better. So the first thing I did was change my inner voice
Mm-hmm.
because she was awfully mean to herself, and I don't even think I ever realized how impactful that was. And that was, my parents' voice in my head telling me, you're not good enough, you'll never be good enough, no one will ever love you, you're nothing, you're a failure, you'll fail at everything. My outside voice was, so I'm the best at everything, but my inner voice was not. There was such a conflict of ideas, inner voice, outer voice, right?
Right, exactly. And then, how you were talking about how other people treat you. Um, what you allow is what they will do. I mean, what will happen to you? So if you allow other people to treat you badly, then you're going to be treated badly. So
Absolutely.
you have to put the brakes on that as well and let other people know that, you can't talk to me that way or you can't act that way around me. I won't allow that.
Absolutely. This is boundaries, right? Healthy
Hmm.
boundaries. Because it's another programming that we're taught, especially women. Women lack boundaries, right? Because we're always told, you're a mother, you're a wife, you put yourself last. Your family comes first. Everyone around you comes first. I've spent hours making dinner. No one thanked me for it. Nobody offered to clean up after I was done. And I'm still making sure I'm serving all the people at the table, and I sit down last.
Hmm.
What is that? This is a deep programming that we've been taught by society, by our own parents. No, this is so false. Once we deconstruct the bad programming,
Hmm.
put healthier, beautiful programming inside so we start to love ourselves, putting up boundaries is almost automatic. You do have to think about it, you do have to put them there, but it's the next logical step. If I'm loving myself now and treating myself with love and grace,
Hmm.
well, I'm not going to allow anyone else to treat me like that anymore, am I?
Right. Right, exactly. That's it. It
Right?
starts with you again.
Starts with you.
It
Exactly.
definitely starts with you and what you will allow and what you don't allow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we heal, people start to just naturally fall away out of our lives. And that can cause a lot of stress for us because
Hmm.
it's like, oh God, I was hoping to heal so I'd do better, and now I'm alone. No, I gotta tell you, every single person that fell out of my life needed to
Hmm.
fall out of my life because they
Well,
weren't serving me anymore.
right. That is one of the biggest fears about setting boundaries is you're afraid, oh, well, if I put a boundary up to this person, I'll lose them. They'll leave. They'll go away. I'll never see
Yeah.
them again. And so I better not do that. But the truth is, that's maybe exactly what you need to do, right?
Well, look what you just did there. You just prioritized the other person's feelings over your own.
Right.
Plus, your fear of being alone just popped up there. Some more childhood trauma, right?
Hmm.
So, like, when we do these things, analyze it
Hmm.
because it leads you exactly to what is going on there. So, not only is there a lack of boundaries, but there's a lack of self love if you're still prioritizing other people over yourself.
Exactly. So,
Right?
how does your workbook? What? Give me some examples of your workbook and how your workbook addresses this, and what are you suggesting someone does?
So I've broken it down into a couple of sections.
Hmm.
Starting at the bottom for me, we're starting with the root chakra. We're learning because, as we're babies, as we're
Hmm.
in the mother's womb, even at about 6 months old or somewhere around there, we're already programming what's going into our root chakra, right? So we're
Right.
already programming even what your mother's feeling, what she's experienced. You are absolutely connected by the umbilical cord to your mother. So you're literally feeling her emotions, her thoughts. So some of it's not even about you, it's about her. And then, of course, everything we learn until about 7 years old is programmed into our root chakra. We learn what love looks like. We learn.
Hmm.
So there's going to be a lot of journaling in the book because there is, psychology talks about this. When we actually put hand to paper, and I don't mean typing, I mean hand to paper, pen to paper, if you will, pencil, whatever. It triggers something in our brain and it starts to actually release forgotten memories and things like that.
Hmm.
And oof, boy, that was huge for me because I had severely blocked childhood. So that was a big thing to start releasing that. Um, so working through that kind of childhood stuff, the early programming stuff, this is where I also talk about like forgive yourself first
Hmm.
because your soul chose a lot of the things that are programmed into your root chakra too, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes it's karma from 10 lifetimes ago, and your soul's like, yeah, you've been carrying that around for a little while. Let's heal that. Let's get rid of that. And you're wondering, where does this fear of driving even come from? How am I so afraid of driving? I've never been in an accident. Because I do. I've never had a license. I actually have a fear of driving. I have never been in a car accident, nothing major. So where does this come from? Probably 10 lifetimes ago, or even 3, I was in a car accident, and that fear is there. So my soul wants me to heal it, right? So there's so many little nuances to it, and yet it is logical and it makes sense. I find that as I healed, triggers came up. That's a big one. People trigger us all the time, right? And after working on forgiveness for a long time, when I first came back and really threw myself into public again, because, while I was writing, it was COVID. I was by myself. I didn't have my job. I was super isolated. And then I'm a tour guide. So as soon as I stepped on a coach with a whole bunch of people again, I was like, wonder what this is going to be like now that I understand my empathy, first of all. And I've done so much healing. And almost immediately I was triggered. This woman stood up and started saying to me, oh, you should have told us that yesterday, because I'm giving some instructions. You should have told us, and you never said anything. And I'm like, no, I actually did mention that yesterday. No, she starts yelling at me in front of everyone. Now, generally, if someone has something to say, they pull you to the side, they say what they have to say, or they complain, and we sort the problem.
Right.
If someone does this on the coach, on the bus, in front of everyone, and will not let it go, this is to incite mob mentality. This is a very intentional trying to make you look bad in front of everyone. So she speaks to me, I speak back, but I'm triggered. I mean, I am instantly just livid. And I was about to tell a morning joke, because I always tell a joke. There was no way I was telling that joke. So I thought, no, Tina, you know what to do. You have the tools. So I went, I'm going to sit down for 5 minutes. I'll get back to the group. They don't need to know what's going on in my head. So I just sat, I ended whatever I was saying, and I sat down and I analyzed, and I went, all right, what's happening here, right? What's happening? So this woman pissed me off. Obviously, I'm clearly triggered. I'm clearly upset.
Right.
Why? Well, she tried to publicly humiliate me.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay, so who does that remind me of? My mother. Boom, just like that. That was the trigger. It wasn't the woman. She was the tool that Spirit used to trigger me, to show me that there was something I still needed to work on.
Yeah.
Because I've done so much forgiveness around my parents.
Yeah.
But now the little things that are clearly still affecting me are starting to pop up. But I recognize them. Now, instead of just being angry all day, not being able to shake it, even then berating myself for not being able to shake it, this time I sat down and went, nope, what's the problem? And so then I was able to forgive my mother's soul and get right to the point. Mom, you used to humiliate us as children, as teenagers, even as adults. I'm sure you'd still do it today if I still talk to you. I forgive you for that. First of all, here's how it made me feel, because we can't bypass our emotions. So here's what that action made me feel. And now I forgive you for that. I don't need to call my mother to have that conversation with her. I can have it with her soul, because that's what matters.
Right.
And then I even forgave that woman who triggered me for being, a bit mean. And I just went, and thank you. Not only do I forgive you for trying to humiliate me in front of everyone, but I also thank you for healing something that needed to be healed. In 10 minutes, I am over this whole scenario.
Wow.
Good gosh. Wow. I would have spent the whole day, maybe even 2 days, being upset before that. Do I think that this happens in the beginning as quickly as that? No, we have to work through our things first, right?
Right.
But now I'm to the point where I embrace my triggers. I'm not afraid of them anymore, and they don't control me anymore.
Right.
I embrace them and I use them to heal.
Yeah.
And that is a gift.
And oftentimes those triggers, people will, I know it happens to me occasionally, but you can't sleep at night. You're sitting there running it over and over through your head. And you need to dispel that. You need to get that out of there. I agree with you. That is wonderful advice right there.
Yeah, powerful tool. And I'd say the other lessons, I I get a lot of pushback around forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because even when I sent my book to the editor, she said to me, Tina, I believe everything you're saying. I teach classes on forgiveness. I agree with you, but I'm reading your book and I want to push back. She's like, I want to push back. So she's like, I need you to go back to the drawing board and maybe be a little gentler. And I went, cool, that's why you're my editor, right? Okay, let's do it. And then of course Spirit teaches us lessons. So I had all kinds of childhood memories revealed to me when I wrote my first book so that I could heal them.
Mm-hmm.
They were mostly from 10 and up, 10 years old and up. This, now I haven't had flashbacks in years, a couple of years, like 3 at least. And now she tells me this thing about forgiveness, and I instantly start having nightmares about when I was 2 years old, 3 years old, way younger. Pardon me, I'm a little bit cold. Way younger. I'm way younger. So it's harder for me to forgive because I'm going, oh man, you did that to a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
What kind of monster does that to a 2-year-old? I spent weeks. I did not just go straight to forgiveness. I wasn't ready. After all the work I've done on forgiveness, Spirit was teaching me a lesson about, no, there's still stuff that you need to forgive. And it's not as easy as it seems. And I had to journal and I had to like really dive in, and I allowed myself to do that. Mm-hmm. I knew that I would never go to a point of depression or wallowing in my past ever again because I've been there for sure in my life. But I also knew that there's a balance between not just bypassing it. And so I had to find that forgiveness. And the lesson for me there was sometimes things are hard for people. So maybe instead of just saying, no, you have to forgive, you have to, right? Like,
right.
Build bridge to forgiveness. So now I inserted like 10 steps to get to forgiveness. Mm-hmm. And then I went back and I did that for building boundaries. Let's build a bridge to boundaries. Meditation. Gosh, if you're fully encompassed in your pain, nobody's going to send you to a silent retreat. You'd go mad.
Yeah.
So, and meditation feels like that for a lot of people, right? When you're really broken and really your brain is going at 100 miles an hour, filtering, like you said, nonstop films of all the things that have happened and that upset you, and you're like, why can't I let this go? Mm-hmm. So let's build a bridge. Let's build a bridge to get to meditation. So that was a really neat lesson that I had to learn in order to be able to put it in my book.
Mm-hmm. I have a question for you. When you're doing this deep inside work and all, do you ever have paranormal experiences, out-of-body soul travel, out-of-body experiences, things like that? Does that ever occur to you?
I have not had that happen yet.
Mm-hmm.
A big, huge part of my childhood was damaging my body. Mm-hmm. My mother, I had a lot of gifts when I was a child, as I think we all do. And my parents did not want me to have those gifts come to light. So they would hurt me physically a lot to beat that out of me. And as I got older, I had such a hatred for my physical body. Every day of my life, I was told I was fat. Every day I was told I was ugly. And those gifts are very connected to the body. Mm-hmm. So I know that I still have more healing around the way I feel about my body before those gifts are going to come through, because they're connected to my body. And right now I am disconnected. I'm almost there, but I know that I'm still disconnected. So I have a super strong empathy and a super strong inner knowing, but I have yet to remember a dream. Mm-hmm. I don't remember I'm sure we all astral travel, but I don't remember it. I don't hear the voices and I don't see things. Not yet.
Okay, a question for you, and this is a question for you to answer from within. How do you define love? What is love?
Love is a feeling that I know when I'm in the energy of love because I feel pure bliss. Mm-hmm. Whether that is, again, as an empath, if I walk into a room that's just full of good energy and high vibrations, it translates to me as love. When I meet another person whose soul is so beautiful and pure, I feel the love emanating from them. When I feel down and spirit drops a message for me, or even just touches my hair, that happens sometimes, flicks my eyelashes or touch my hair, that is my only physical things that I get. It's just a reminder that I'm here and I'm holding you, and then I feel that love. So love for me is pure bliss, pure joy, peace. It's peace.
Do you have something in your book, in your workbook, that teaches this to the people reading it?
Well, I do talk about meditation, and I think meditation will take us there.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of steps I had to take before I got to love. I had, because I didn't love myself, and I didn't even know that. And I think a lot of people don't realize how much they don't love themselves. So first I needed to strip away the masks, strip away the programming. I had to listen to 30 days of positive affirmations while I slept to reprogram. I put sticky notes all over my house, so that every time and on my mirror, every time I looked in the mirror and looked at an outfit and went, oh God, that doesn't look good on you, I would immediately replace it with 3 positive thoughts about myself. So I had to teach myself love.
Wow. Wow.
It,
Amazing.
it took time. It did. Yeah.
I had an author on the show at one time, Marguerite Baca, and she wrote a book called Fierce Joy. Tell me your thoughts on joy.
Joy is the feeling I have when I walk in a forest.
Hmm.
Joy is the feeling that I feel when I swim in the ocean,
Hmm.
or when I see a landscape that takes my breath away. For me, this is pure joy.
So it's an external thing. It's not an internal thing. Is that what you're saying? It's
Well,
triggered by something.
triggered by, yeah,
Triggered by, yeah.
yeah, sure. Yes. I mean, I think we can have joy with nothing around us at all, because for me, joy and love, they're kind of the same.
Yeah.
Right? So if I have that inner love, I have inner joy, I have inner bliss. But there are
So
many extra things that give me joy for sure.
can a person teach themselves to be triggered positively instead of negatively?
Well, I think that a negative trigger, if we want to put positive negative on it, our soul is guiding our healing. The minute we decide that we're going to heal, that we want to heal, our
Hmm.
soul goes, oh, thank God, I've been waiting for you to be ready, because that's what our soul wants for us. That's why we came here, right? To
Hmm.
learn and to heal and to be at peace and have bliss and joy and self-love. But we our team, our guides, our angels, they can't interfere unless we ask them to. So the minute we go, yeah, I want to heal, our soul goes, oh, thank God, and starts to help. And I believe it is our own soul that is triggering us when we need to be triggered to show you what still needs to be healed.
Hmm.
So I don't think the triggers are put there to see if you've got it, if you've learned it.
Hmm.
It's like, hey, you're still holding on to a little bit of that, so I'm going to just trigger you so that you can work through the lesson. The problem is we often just don't work through the lesson. We just like embrace that trigger and freak out. But if we understood that the triggers are there to teach us,
Hmm.
that we turn them into positive messages, because every time we learn from one, that was the intention.
Hmm.
The same way that once we start laying down boundaries, Spirit's going to put people in our path that test our boundaries to see, are they really strong, or are you going to cave when a pretty face comes along? Because it is often easier, right, to pretty faces, whether that's men or women, to allow them to get away with more than other people. It's human nature, right?
Right.
I always had strong boundaries with strangers, medium boundaries with my friends, and no boundaries with my incredibly handsome lovers. So do you
Yeah.
see how that was?
Yeah.
You're handsome, you're charming, you can't be a bad guy. Yeah, that's not how that works. Right?
Right. Right. How do you deal with when you're being gaslight or gaslit or narcissistic personalities?
Well, this is my specialty because this
Uh,
is what I had. My parents are both narcissists. My three partners were narcissists. And it was after the third one that I was able to go, oh, I understand the pattern now. Because, first of all, when I was growing up, we didn't have this word narcissism, gaslighting, love bombing. None of that
right.
existed. And if it did, it was buried, into psychology books. It wasn't mainstream. Also, it wasn't until I had three partners that I saw that there even was a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Because one person does not make a pattern.
All right.
It also wasn't obvious to me. My first partner didn't love me back. So I went, yeah, unrequited love. That's my father. I will never do that again. Well, both parents, really. The next one was an addict. And I went, oh, I am never doing that again. So I'm thinking I'm growing and learning. And then the second one is bipolar. And I go, oh, now I see the pattern. You're all narcissists. My parents were narcissists.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started to deconstruct the programming that they put into me, into my brain, into my heart, into my whole body, I started to see the manipulation.
Right.
I started to see the way my partners were able to manipulate me.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I wanted to be, I'm a damn good manipulator myself. Like I can. I understand how people work.
Sure.
But that was my shtick. Once I started to see the lies, oh man, now I meet people and they say something to me and I just look at them and I go, oh, that's not going to work on me. Once you start to analyze it and understand what it is and then learn it and how it did get you, you'll never have the wool pulled over your eyes anymore. So nobody can love bomb me anymore because I see it for the falseness that it is. And, oh man, especially manipulation, like what you're saying, that gaslighting. I can see that a mile away. I watch television
Right.
and I watch all the gaslighting and I think, gosh, no wonder we fall for it so easily when they're literally writing it into scripts.
Mm-hmm.
We've been inundated that this is okay.
Yeah.
We watch
exactly.
it.
Yeah, it's in the news. I mean, it's in everything. The politicians out there, they are experts at being narcissistic and gaslighting, right? Is there any
Absolutely.
advice you have for that?
Learn it. Learn it.
Learn.
Go to YouTube, listen to psychologists talk, educate yourself, because that is the only way to bypass any of these things. And you don't need money to educate yourself. There are so many incredibly good programs on YouTube. Just listen to any of the psychologists that are talking about gaslighting. Start to listen to those. You'll start to see the patterns and then you'll hear it. You can't help it. You're on the bus, you're walking down the street, you're in a grocery store lineup, you're hearing people talk, and you're going, my God, that man is gaslighting his wife right now. Or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Or the children. Gosh, we gaslight children a lot. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Get them to do what we want, but we're also teaching them how to gaslight.
Yep. And the name of your new book, you said it just came out, right? It lost.
Yeah, like a week ago.
Like a week ago. Wow.
Yeah.
Lost in the Overwhelm. Practical, hands-on workbook full of lessons and journaling prompts. How important is journaling?
Very important.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, so as I said at the beginning, there is a connection your brain makes when you start to actually physically write things on paper that unleashes hidden memories. So it's not even about journaling, so it even makes sense. You could go bullet point, you could write down random words, but just by doing it, it starts to it starts to unleash or release things, if you will. Now, not everybody's a talker. Some people draw. Draw pictures if that makes you happy. Why not? We don't have to be so locked into a box anymore. Anytime someone makes a suggestion on how to heal, there might be an alternative that works better for you. You don't need permission for that. If you're an artist, I can't draw to save my life, So draw if you're an artist. Draw. This is great for children. you've seen where children have been asked to draw a picture and they draw some frightening scene, and that's how you know they're being abused at home. Children will draw. They might not have words, but they have images.
They know what it looks like and what it feels like.
Feels like, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Journaling, I think, is really important.
Do you think that it's important for people to ask for help, either internally or through therapy?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Well, many people won't ask for
Well,
help.
of course, they're not ready.
Yeah,
And we can't force anyone to be ready.
right.
If you try to force healing on someone, you could actually just do more damage or just have them double down on their pain.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that happen too.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to learn that lesson the hard way too. I wanted to help someone and I couldn't. That person wasn't ready. And now they've just doubled down on their pain.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so what do you do in a situation like that when you realize that you think you're helping someone, but you're actually hurting them, and it comes to you that you're doing that? What do you think you should do at that point?
Well, it was a lesson you were meant to learn because when we're doing things, I'm learning to heal too, and yet my mission is supposed to be that I'm a teacher. Well, how do I get to be a teacher? I learn lessons. So, although I didn't harm that person, I just tried to help them and they weren't ready, so I immediately stepped back. So that was the right thing to do, step back, and to also say, listen, I love you whether you're ready to heal or not. Please don't step back from me. I won't force anything upon you. I had to learn that. I learned the lesson, and I pivoted the way I do things. Yeah. People will come to you when they're ready. It's not our job to go seek them out.
Right. You are a teacher in with your books and with your workbook. Give me an example of something that you have in your workbook that you feel like, well, this is very important for people to learn this.
I still think probably the number one thing is forgiveness. I think holding on to resentment, or even if it's just boiled down to it's been there so long, it's just this dull ache in your body. Mind, body, and spirit, it is affecting you. Because it certainly affects, the body tells the story, right? So everything goes into our body physically. But also, we all want to have success in life. We all want to thrive. How can you ever be successful in life if you're still describing yourself as a victim? Victims are not successful people. There's being victimized, and there's playing the role of victim. There's a big difference there. I played the role of victim for a while. Not a long time. I was always too brassy for that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm stronger than anyone that's ever hurt me. But I wasn't. So that was all bravado. But then when I'd have moments where life was really falling apart and I was falling apart, well, I certainly fell into the depression and the victim role. It's not fair. Life has been so cruel. It's not how come other people have all these things and I don't? Well, if we believe that that's what we are and believe that that's what we get, well, then that's what we get. Because that's the law of attraction.
Right. Oh,
So
and
if you
that is
successful-
it. Because playing the victim means you get attention, and people strive for attention, right?
Yeah. But that's just their brokenness, right? That they never got love, and so attention feels like love, but it's not. It's not love. Yeah. So find forgiveness, and I know it's hard to find forgiveness. There are some truly heinous acts that have been done. Build the bridge. Take baby steps to get there so that you're not also berating yourself for not getting there. Again, even when we're healing, we're hard on ourselves. No, we need to not do that.
Where do you believe that internal lessons come from, like the universe or God, or how do you define where the healing and the lessons come from?
Well, it's coming from our own soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our soul, before we come to the earth, we're making like a recipe box, if you will, of all the things that we're going to program into this, avatar, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Soul's going to bring with you. So, again, that might be some past karma that your soul's like, for the love of God, let's heal this already. This has been kicking around for too long. Let's program that into the root chakra. But also, whatever karmic patterns you've been following for a while, well, that's got to be programmed into there as well. And growth. I want my gifts to come out this lifetime, or I want this to come out this lifetime. I'm changing from a healer to a teacher, whatever your soul is programming for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think our soul is entirely in charge of what's happening. And then we have a team of people that are helping us. Of course we do. We have our angels, we have our ancestors, we have all kinds of, deities, whatever you want to believe in, whatever your higher power is. If people believe in God, then God's helping you with this. The universe, right? We're all connected. God, the universe, our souls, we're all one in the end. So it's all the same in my heart.
And how important is it to you to pay it forward?
Oh gosh, absolutely vital. That's what we're here for, isn't it? To
Right.
heal ourselves. We are only responsible for ourselves, but we're also here to serve this planet and to serve Gaia as she's ascending. And we do that by being in service to the planet. And humanity is part of this planet.
Yeah.
That's why I wrote the books. Otherwise, I would have kept that stuff to myself. Right? Revealing all of the painful things I went through in life was not a joyride for me. I did that to help others.
Yeah. The book is called Lost in the Overwhelm. And, we talked about being overwhelmed. But it's available now as of about a week ago. Where can someone find this book?
It's on Amazon. It's in Ingram Sparks. What I really love is that if you can't afford to buy it, you can call up your local library and you can just go to the Amazon website, find the number on the back, and give that to your local library, and they will order it for you. Any library where you have a library card, you can ask for books to be ordered. If because healing is for everyone, and I don't ever want money to hold people back, because I know how broke I was when I was healing, and I could never in my life afford a therapist. I've still never had a therapy session. So I figured it out for free, and I want to make sure that that is accessible for people as well. So call your library. They can order it off of Ingram Sparks or Barnes & Noble in the U.S. They are on those platforms. Otherwise, it is available on Amazon.
That I never thought of that, but that's true. You can contact your local library, have them order the book for you. Take it a couple of weeks, they'll get it, and then you can just go check it out. And it doesn't cost you anything.
Exactly.
And a lot of authors wouldn't give that advice because that means you didn't sell one book. But it's important to you, of course, to sell a book too.
It is, but I also want people to find the peace and the love that I feel. That is the true message.
And of course, you can go to Amazon and find Tina's books. Tina, thank you so much for coming back on the show, being my guest again. I really appreciate talking to you and getting your insight on everything we've talked about.
Oh, it's been a great conversation. Thank you for having me again.
And we will see you next time on The J. Michael Show.
Goodbye.